We all interact with Google every single day, probably a dozen times before we've even finished our first cup of coffee, right? Well, today in this explainer, we're totally pulling back the curtain. We're going to look at this tech giant, but not from our usual everyday user perspective. Instead, we're putting on our CEO hats. We're going to analyze this massive digital empire and uncover the actual structural blueprint of their entire software ecosystem. Let's dive in. So, is Google just a search engine? A lot of people just picture that blank white page with a search box, right? And hey, it makes sense. That's the baseline assumption we all make because it's exactly where they started. It's what we see the most. But honestly, if we really want to understand the true scale of this company, if we want to see it how a CEO sees it, we've got to completely throw that assumption out the window. Take a look at this massive number, 3 billion. That is the number of people worldwide currently using Google's software products. Just to put that into perspective, that's literally more than a third of the entire global population interacting with this ecosystem. You just don't hit those kinds of astronomical numbers with a simple search engine, right? So, to make sense of this whole thing, we're going to break down this mind-boggling scale into 5 strategic pillars. We'll go beyond the search engine, look at how they reach the masses, dive into enterprise and developer power, explore the big AI integration, and finally, unpack the advertising economic engine. All right, kicking things off with pillar number 1, beyond the search engine. When you really dig into their corporate blueprint, it completely shatters that whole search engine myth. Actually, they're one of the most diversified software companies on the planet. They aren't just indexing the internet anymore. They're literally building the nuts and bolts, the tools we use every single day to navigate, work, and secure our digital lives. The crucial takeaway here is that they've engineered this omnipresent software ecosystem that stretches across 17 distinct categories. We're talking about everything from massive cloud computing architecture and cutting-edge AI, all the way down to everyday tools like Google Classroom for education or, entertainment giants like YouTube. The sheer breadth of it all is just absolutely astounding. Moving right along to pillar number 2, reaching the masses. Think of this like a giant funnel. Everyday products, things like the Chrome browser, Maps, Waze, and YouTube, they sit right at the top, capturing global consumer attention. And they're doing this across video, mobile, web browsing, you name it. The point is, they aren't just sitting around waiting for you to search for something. They're actively providing the foundational apps that you're using throughout your entire day. And the real cornerstone of this unprecedented reach? The Android operating system. This is a massive infrastructure built through the Android open source project. It's been adopted by thousands of manufacturers, brands you definitely know, like Samsung, Sony, and Motorola. By basically handing out this OS, Google ensures that its software, like Google Play and Android Auto, powers over 3 billion active devices worldwide. Honestly, it's an absolute masterclass in distribution. All right, let's pivot to pillar number 3, enterprise and developer power. Now, you can see a pretty clear split here in their enterprise strategy, and honestly, a massive shift in scale. On one side, you've got the familiar stuff, Google Workspace. We're talking Gmail, Docs, Meet, the tools directly competing with Microsoft 365 for schools and businesses. But then, on the flip side, you have the Google Cloud Platform, or GCP. This is the heavy-duty infrastructure. Compute engine, cloud storage, BigQuery. This is the massive backend powering global startups, giant enterprises, and even entire governments. And to make sure the innovation doesn't stall out on these platforms, Google heavily supports a massive developer ecosystem. Take a look at that open source column on the right. Kubernetes, TensorFlow, Go, Chromium. These aren't just Google tools anymore. They've become the foundational building blocks adopted by millions of developers worldwide to basically build the modern internet as we know it.
Which brings us to pillar number 4, arguably the most exciting one right now, the AI integration.
Look, artificial intelligence, it is no longer just some standalone product or experimental side project for them. This tech is moving at a completely breathtaking pace. Their flagship model, Gemini, along with tools like Vertex AI and Notebook LM, really represents a fundamental shift. They are building AI that handles everything from complex writing to coding with Gemini Code Assist, right through to massive, large-scale business automation. So the big takeaway here is that AI is basically the new connective tissue for the entire company. It's being baked into almost every single one of those 17 categories we talked about earlier. It's this invisible engine, right? Accelerating everything from your personalized YouTube recommendations to dynamic image generation, all the way up to complex, heavy-duty data analytics in BigQuery.
And finally, we arrive at pillar number 5, the advertising economic engine.
This step-by-step cycle right here, this is the absolute heart of the CEO's master plan. It's a remarkably efficient, self-sustaining loop. First, those free consumer products capture mass global attention. Second, the advertising platform monetizes that colossal user base. And third, all that generated revenue gets poured right back into funding advanced R&D, data centers, open source projects, and all that AI research that keeps the whole wheel turning. Capture, monetize, fund. It's that simple, but on a massive scale.
And the tools actually making that monetization happen are just formidable. Used by millions of businesses all around the globe, advertising products like Google Ads, AdSense, Ad Manager, and Display and Video 360, these represent Google's absolute largest single source of revenue. They are the financial bedrock funding that entire 17-category ecosystem we've been talking about.
So when you step back and look at how all 17 software categories and these 5 pillars lock together, a pretty clear picture starts to emerge. Like this quote says, "Together, these businesses create a tightly integrated ecosystem serving consumers, developers, enterprises, educators, and governments." Once you see it all laid out, you realize you aren't just looking at a search company anymore. You're looking at the invisible infrastructure of the modern digital world.
Given the staggering scale of their productivity tools, their cloud storage, the rapidly advancing AI, and of course, the mobile platforms sitting in our pockets right now, it really leaves you wondering just how deeply this single company's blueprint is woven into your own everyday routine. So take a look at your phone, check your browser, look at your apps today, and ask yourself, honestly, how much of your day is spent inside this one ecosystem?